In this week's video, I'm turning these images into a stormy landscape artwork in Photoshop. Like most of the time, I started the edit without knowing what I actually wanted to create. I opened up my travel photos folder and started just copying images to the PSD file location. When I'm scrolling through my images, I often get these sort of flashes of edit ideas in my head. I don't really know how to explain it, but seeing a set of semi-randomly selected images helps me to define at least the base direction for my artwork. The first two images I added are taken in Iceland. The base is a drone shot, which I'm actually lucky to have because I was super close to losing my drone due to the strong winds. The rock image is a popular photo spot in Iceland, and I originally wanted to get stormy conditions at that spot, but the ocean was unfortunately super calm that day. I also found a cool foreground image which I took in northern France, which fit perfectly with the mood I was going for. When I saw the base objects together, I actually thought of ditching the whole edit. I didn't feel super good about the overall idea, but once I started adding these images of small towns I've shot in northern Italy and Turkey, I changed my mind and continued editing the piece further. I actually had the most struggles getting the buildings to look right on the rock. Mixing different building types and textures together was definitely a bit of a challenge, but eventually by cutting the images into several smaller pieces and placing them around on the rock, I was able to achieve a result I was happy with. I usually try not to mix too many different terrain types and textures together because it often breaks the realism of the artwork, but then on the other hand, I can't totally stand behind this rule because I never have enough images from one country or one place to freely edit whatever out of them. At this point, I really didn't like the way how the town images looked like. You can clearly see that the colors and the light intensities are completely different to each other with these towns. But I knew it would start looking better once I start the blending process. One thing I was 100% sure about was that the original sky had to go. I used the sky placement tool to quickly test all kinds of different skies, and in fact I have created hundreds of high quality sky stock images over the years, and I bulk imported them to the tool so I always have skies for any situation from moody clouds to starry night and northern light scenes. I always hated the process of looking for sky stock images for my edits when I was still only editing out of random stock images. Also, adjusting already once color graded JPEG files in general was super annoying. If you want to get all of my almost 300 professional skies, I've left a link to the description. I use these skies in every single edit of mine, and it has truly been a game changer, at least for my own workflow. Changing a sky with a clear horizon line always makes the ocean look unmatched, so I clip masked the layer to the ocean and blended the horizon line with just sampling colors from the new sky near the horizon and brushing with the small flow. In the blocking stage, I often cut objects out very roughly and refine them then along the way. For the foreground cliff, I use my custom brush brushes to mask out the edge. I always love this part because it makes such a huge difference and you can see the result immediately. I then began blending the scene, starting with the rock. I blend a lot by just brushing color into layers, but I also use curves and hue and saturation to colorize to match light and color levels. I also use my fog brushes to create a stronger atmosphere. This is a stormy scene, so I wanted to make a lot of objects glow and look dark and faded. What comes to the colors, I usually let the sky decide. If my sky is very blue, I try to create the same tone and fadeness to the objects, because that's how it works in real life too. The sky you choose determines pretty much everything for your artwork, from colors to shadows and highlights. You can really see how big of a difference fog brushes make. Especially for blending the horizon line, having a good set of brushes helps a lot. One thing that was missing was the reflection, or in this case rather the shade of the rock, so I duplicated the layer, flipped it around and used a blend if slider to hide the effect from the highlights. I then just masked the rough edges out, and this method worked out just fine. I then remembered that we had shot some lantern images with my girlfriend Michelle at the exact same spot as the foreground was shot at. This image fits so perfectly on top of the cliff, and in general having a subject that has a similar glow level as the background town had tied the edit better together. Since I decided to choose a sky with a big lightning strike, it meant also that I had to create glow and highlights created by it. If there's something I'm not really happy with about this artwork, it will be the horizon highlights I created. I wasn't able to make them look super good, but it was enough to sell the effect. One of my favorite things about editing is adding glow and fog. I usually set my layer to linear dodge add or overlay and then brush glow slowly in with a very small flow set to my brush. The rest of this time lapse is me just adding final touches, highlights and glow to tie the artwork together. So now that the artwork is done, let's talk about it a little bit. One thing that I think could definitely be improved are the highlights coming from the lightning strike. I think the lightning strike would actually cast way stronger reflections on the ocean, but that's something to work more on than in future ocean scenes if I'm gonna create one. I think me finding that image of Michelle with the lantern was the perfect choice for this artwork. It blends so well together with the background lights and it creates this mysterious feeling for the whole artwork, and in general I like to have subjects for my artworks. Let me know what you think of the end result and feel free to leave a like to the video if you enjoyed these type of speed art commentary videos. And if you're new to the channel, you're always welcome to subscribe. That's everything for this video. I'll see you next week.